good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding! Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I'm kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support I'm getting on this channel, man. We're going up and it's all because of you. I'm very humbled. Thank you guys so much. So, did Lefty just make things worse, man? What is the dealio? Filio, right? What goes through the minds of people, man, when it comes to clout, or it comes to rap music, or it comes to just basically telling on themselves, putting all their business out on the streets so that way everyone thinks they're gangster. At this point, man, in this situation with the hood stocks thing that happened, the back and forth with Lazy Boy, the whatever, right? I think people are starting to recognize there's a lot more going on, and it has to do with a persona. It has to do with wanting people to think you're something that you might not be. You might want people to think that you're, and it goes like, in life, it goes like this for everybody. There's a lot of people that will put on an image, dress a certain way, act a certain way, and at the end of the day, they ain't that way. They're not even close to that way, right? But, if you say anything because they have a push or because they have people behind them, then you're a hater. You're envious. You want what they say they have, right? There's a lot of people that say they have a lot of things that really don't have shit, right? They just act like it and they start to think it and make people think it. And a lot of people, especially nowadays, will be like, oh, he's that one, bro. Why? Because he says he's that one. Well, guess what? He also says fucking that he wasn't with the chirujo around the corner getting a mamon. But hey, that's gay. I seen the footage, right? So there's a lot of different things when it comes to a lot of different people that you could say. And it's all he said, she said. It's all talk, right? So did Lefty dig his hole deeper or make himself look pretty much dumb in the phone call that he made with Hatersworld, right? Now, I don't really speak too much on Hatersworld because at the same time, I appreciate the content he brings to YouTube. I appreciate his no-nonsense attitude. What I don't appreciate is how he talks shit about certain individuals or has things to say about certain people. But to be honest to God and to tell you the truth, man, I've never had any problems with his issues or had any problems with how he feels because I understand. See, I once was in that same position where I was in good standings. I was active and I just wouldn't have nothing to do with anyone who wasn't. So I can't be a hypocrite and sit here and say that, things that he says aren't truth or things that he says aren't the way you're supposed to rock, because they absolutely are. When you're active or in good standings within the gang life, man, there's certain ways you have to carry yourself. Do you see, back in my days, we would have never, ever, ever acknowledged anyone from the other side, never acknowledged people that we felt were not conforming or functioning the way they were supposed to. People that fell off or weren't cut from that cloth. Didn't necessarily mean we were harder than them. Didn't necessarily mean we'd put hands on them. But at the same time, we understood that we were coming from two different worlds. We were in our world. They were in their world, homes. And that's just the way it was going to play out. Whatever happens, happens. Now, just because you're functioning and active and you haven't fucked up yet, or you haven't fell off, or you haven't got whacked on the yard or whatever, doesn't mean you're better than the next man. I've met a lot of people that are still to this day riding beach cruisers around the hood, high power and active. And the only reason they're like that is because they never got incarcerated or they never were in the vicinity of real ones and never functioned to a certain, got status or functioned to a certain level within the game. They always just maintained even keel. And you know what? Hey, respects to them. But at the same time, I understand that unless you've been through the trenches, you don't know what the shit smells like. Okay, when it comes to Lefty Gunplay, he allegedly has been through those trenches. He has tattoos on his body which symbolizes certain status levels within incarceration, being behind the walls. If you know, you know. Okay, I'm going to break it down for you and give you the real rundown right now before we get into the fucking FaceTime phone call he made on Hatersworld. And it goes like this. Because most people aren't going to tell you, man. And a lot of people ask me, what's the difference? Well, here it is. Okay. There's Southsiders and there's Sureños, homes. And they are not the same. Okay? They are not the same. A Southsider is a gang member from Southern California that claims the South. He claims the southern part. He claims the southern side, not the other side, right? That's a Southsider. Okay, of course you have upstate Southsiders or Sureños they call themselves, but they are part of that flag, bro. They are part of that movement. You know, they just happen to live in Northern California, so it's just a whole different twist and a little bit of a different flavor, but at the same time, I recognize them Vatos for having done time and, you know, establishing, planting their flags and doing their thing. Ain't nothing, to me, it's no difference. It's just that I've done time with guys from Southern California that were Southsiders, and I understand their plights, what they go through, and the way they wiggle, because I've been on yards with real ones. Okay, then there's Sureños. Not to be misconstrued with Southsiders, right? Sureños are political and they're striving in a different fashion. Okay, and a lot of people throw those words around, Sureño and Southsider, and think that they're the same. But they're absolutely not. They might sound the same, look the same, but at the end of the day, they are nothing to fool with, right? Sureños have a different type of professionalism and carry themselves a different type of way because they're striving for something political, for something different compared to what Southsiders are striving for. Okay, the same thing goes in a Norteño fashion. It's just the label that you give them. That's why back in the days there was Northerners and there was Norteños, and now there's Ensols and Norteños. It's just a different label, a different title, but at the end of the day, they are not the same. They might function side by side and fight the same wars, but they're not considered of the same status while incarcerated, you know? Norteño soldados are a little bit more educated and they're striving for a different type of element within the cause. Same cause, different strive. That's just the way it is. And it goes same thing for the Southsider. So a lot of people allegedly believe because of some of the tattoos that Lefty Gunplay has that he's a Sureño and not a Southsider. Now, he might display some of the tattoos and he might display some of them, a few of the mannerisms and the way that he talks about being incarcerated, that he does it in a Sureño fashion. But the characteristics, the main mannerisms, the way he acts are not those of a Sureño. It's not even those of a Southsider, to be honest with you. It's those of a young guy who's happy to be in the position he's in. And ain't nothing wrong with that. See, a guy got at me yesterday, hey, bro, you don't disrespect Lefty. You show him too much love. You give him too much respect. Well, I give everybody respect. I don't do red or blue. I don't do north or south, homes. That's not my lane. I'm not gangbanging. That's not what I'm into. I don't hate Vatos because they're not from the city I'm from. I don't hate Vatos because they're having more money than me. And I definitely don't hate Vatos because they're Vatos, right? Trip out. At the end of the day, I'm under the assumption that everybody is fucking worthy of respect until they're not. Okay, so for those that are saying, hey, Lefty is all fucking sideways, hasn't drank his V8 this morning, he's all fucked up, bro, there's no way he could be a Sureño. I'm here to tell you right now, he could be anything that he truly is. Does he display the mannerism and the characteristics and the way I've seen Sureños in the past rock? Abso-fucking-lutely not. You know, but then again, this could just be a persona and an image he's playing out in front of the camera for clout, for more views, for more feria. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money in this world. Everybody needs to get a bag. Everybody wants to get a bag. And then there are those that care more so about their reputation and the way they look and the way other people perceive them rather than the money. I think that's stupid as fuck. I don't care what anybody thinks about me, whether they think I'm a J-Cat, I'm a gangster, I'm educated, or I'm not. At the end of the day, man, I'm giving you knowledge you can't get in college. And the only thing I care about is the end game. The end game being be able to support myself, my family, and give you guys some good klecha. That's it, man. Whether you think, oh, he looks gangster or not, is really not what I'm striving for. It's not what I'm here for. You know, I'm going to dress how I dress, wear the colors I want to wear, and just keep it pushing, man. But do it in an absolutely respectful manner because I think everybody deserves it. You know, it just makes things a lot more easier for me and a lot more easier for them. Now with Frank, aka Lefty Gunplay, there's been some derogatory things that he has said. You know, he disrespected the Norteño cause. Plain and simple. Now, we know on the streets there's North and South beef, so that's normal, I guess, right? But to a Sureño, that's not normal. And let me explain why. I've never heard a sureño incarcerated or outside of incarceration ever disrespect the northern raza. It just doesn't happen. Okay? Any sureño who knows what time it is, who is really about the business, doesn't do it. They won't do disrespect to a man unless they're putting metal in them. Do you understand? They can't bring themselves to that because they're from a different level of the game. A game where disrespect is not taken lightly. You know, a part of the game where it just isn't in their vocab, homes in their vernacular. They don't get down like that. And the same thing goes for an enso, a norteño soldado that's seasoned and knows what time it is. There is no room or justification for disrespecting people or a man that isn't in front of you. It's just the way it is, the way you're laced up. That's the part of the game. That's what leads me to believe that Lefty just might not be a sureño. Now, again, I could be totally off base. Maybe he is. Maybe he was in the right cell with the right person or in that right building, homes, and someone seen something in him and they felt some type of way and he got pulled into on a certain level. But I highly doubt it, man. And that's just my perception of the way I see him. Now, that doesn't mean he's not down. That doesn't mean he's not a gangster. That doesn't mean he's not willing to do something. Of course, I think he truly is. But you don't tell everyone you're willing to do that. Okay? So let's get to this phone call that he makes with Hatersworld, right? And I want to say this, respect to Blue Devil and respect to his whole podcast. He's doing his thing, man. And I'm not a hater in his world, right? But I will say this. The way he conducted himself, Blue Devil, in that conversation was the best thing he could have did. And he did it the most professional way. Unlike Lucky, he sat back and let Lefty speak his thing, tell his story, Holmes. He interjected very few times because at the end of the day, I'm sure he was feeling like everyone else was feeling that it was a bad look for the Southern Car period to have two homies go on live, man, and argue on t-shirts off and one jump up and want to take the fade and the other one antagonizing the situation. Regardless of who you choose in this fight or who you say was at fault for it, it was an ugly look, plain and simple and period. Okay, that's just what it is, man. Anytime you have two homies, either from the north or the south or Crips or Bloods or Black or whatever, arguing and almost coming to blows in front of thousands of people, it's never a good look. Real business, real gangster shit is conducted behind closed doors and not on camera, right? Facts. A lot of people get mad at myself, Gun, and a lot of other content creators that they consider non-active or dropout channels. You guys expose too much game. You know, I get one minute I'll say, oh, you man, I get a lot of clecha from you, Gun, gracias. The next minute, you exposing too much game. Well, you know, I'm not on screen, bro, trying to fight my own homeboys and proclaim to be active and a gangster and all that. That's just not what happens, right? I'm going to give you clecha, tell you stories, homes, but I'm never going to act out a character and a fool like that, man. There's been plenty of times people have tried to bait me, talk shit, man, and I sat back and took it because I'm of an understanding, bro. You can't get to each other. You're not right there in front of each other. Why wolf, man? We can make videos and talk a little shit and have a little fun, but at the end of the day, all that real fucking yelling and screaming, bro, as long as you're not Wes Watson spitting on me, we're good, right? Now, Lefty called in and Hatersworld, man, let him tell his story, right? And according to Lefty, man, he felt some type of way about being told, fuck you. And I understand that. I understand. But that's young thinking. That's minor, and a minor infraction. If a homie is high and drunk and, you know, you think he's nitpicking, bro, he's acting a certain way, as a professional, as a person, you're supposed to say, bro, you know what? Let's cut this right here. This ain't going good. Bro, you're not in your right ways of thinking. I don't want it to go left because I can't get right, right? And you should have got up and got right and got the fuck up out of there. But at the same time, he also kept egging on the situation with Lucky. So that was two dudes, two bulls fucking bumping horns. That's all that was. Now, what he went and said that made it look worse, man, was Lefty admitted to having a thing on him or saying he had it. Now, you can't get in trouble for saying you have something that you might not have had. And in this case, for fucking, you know, law enforcement purposes, we're going to say he didn't have shit on him. He's just talking that shit to talk that shit, right? But he's saying that he had his thing on him and he felt like fucking murking his homie and pulling it out, but there was too much people watching. And bro, what do you gain by saying that? but only making things worse. You know, I understand some people feel disrespected to the point that they're just like, fuck it, bro, 0 to 100. You want to call me out? You want to catch the fade? Charlie Holmes, we'll just end it like this. Is that gangster? To me, if you're running around talking about your high power, you'll do this, you'll crash out, you'll do that, then 3,000 people are not going to make the difference. You know, because if you're willing to go out there in the streets and fuck rap, fuck money, fuck your family, fuck everything, Holmes, hey, let's get it, I'm a real life gangster, then real life gangsters would have got it, regardless if there was 3,000 people watching or not. Now, you got to understand there's certain things you could say, certain things you shouldn't on social media. One you shouldn't ever say is that you're in possession of a weapon or that you're willing to do this. Because now you got law enforcement looking at you like this vato just done told on himself. He dry snitched on himself. He put it out there what he is capable and willing and able to do. When you've done 9 years in prison on 4 yards, you have to be laced up just a little bit. You have to be educated. If you've done shoe time, Pelican Bay shoe time, or any type of shoe time, you got to be Lowry's just a little bit of season, right? A little paprika. They gave you a little bit of glitch on a little bit of game. And one thing that you learn, Holmes, is keep your shit shut, man. Never tell anybody your next move. Never tell anybody what you're going to do or what you got on you. Because that right there is giving them the heads up and putting them in position to act first. The art of war, right? All different types of laws of power dictate that you're supposed to keep your shit to the chest, man, and act, not react. You know, and that's just it. But in this situation, I think it was more so about clout and continuing to try to look cool. Because all that, hey, I had it on me, he could have got it, I was going to do this, I was going to do that. But you didn't, though. But you didn't, bro. At the end of the day, you didn't, and that's a great thing that you didn't. Because I'm in the positive, Holmes. I'm in the fuck no, you shouldn't have did that. You're going to fuck off your whole career, your money, your family's livelihood, everything over a simple argument over the word fuck you. Hey, if you do that, bro, you know what I mean? Then I guess you truly are gangster. But it never happened and never amounted to shit. But to continue to say and threaten a vato that's already apologized numerous times and said, hey, bro, I was in the wrong. You could do one of two things. You could either accept that apology and move on and keep getting to the bag and keep making money and talk about your new album that's out and talk about your touring and just fucking let it go, man. You know, a lot of people just let shit go and they push on. The people that are going to rock with them are going to rock with them regardless. You got to understand that. But when you continue to antagonize, yeah, well, the vato, I'd have shot him, bro. I'd have did this. I had it on me. I had the blinky on me, man. Bro, stop talking about what you had. I don't know if he's still on parole because parole's fucking different nowadays. See, back in our days, parole was 3 years. You had to give him 36 months on parole. And believe me, they'll violate me for a red t-shirt. I got violated for fucking red shoestrings. I got violated for drinking cough syrup because I had a cold. Been violated several times for any little fucking type of thing. You know, when you're on there with your homies, you're all tatted down. They're gang affiliated, obviously, allegedly. You're gang affiliated. They would have violated the dog shit out of me back in the days. I couldn't even be in certain areas of the city or the town on parole. I'd get violated. Hey, we seen you over there fucking on 9th Street. You're gone. What? Right? That was it. But, I mean, when you're doing interviews, you got your homeboys around you. You're talking about you have cuetes on you. You would have shot a motherfucker. You'd have did this. You're a real life certified gang member, stepper, man. You're him. You're the face of LA. All that. And you're not getting violated? How does that explain how that works out? Explain, you know, make me understand that because I don't understand. You know, nowadays, I don't know if vatos are on parole for a month or 3 years. Now they're fucking getting off parole the day they get out. It's weird. It's just different. Laws have changed, I guess. But if he is on parole to be saying these things, didn't you see Chito Ranas just get locked up on gun charges or whatever? Didn't you just see C-Mag get canceled out over a gun, man? You can't speak on shit and think it makes you look cool because trying to look cool is what got half the dudes locked up right now. Trying to prove themselves. Trying to earn stripes. See, I did all that. So I'm coming from a place with a good heart of flecha, of escuela, you know, and it doesn't matter if I'm from up north in Northern California or Southern California. I'm doing it from a place of brown love, homie. When I say never speak on what you have or what you were willing to do. Either do it or don't. That's it. When you put your business on the streets, there's individuals waiting for you to fuck up. There's a lot of people out there just waiting for Lefty to go left. They're just waiting for him to crash out so they can laugh and move on to the next vato. Do you understand when it comes to Chicano business, brown business, not North or South? Let's put that to the side for a second or two. But brown men right now, there's a lot of people that don't want to see you shine. And the reason they don't want to see you shine, bro, is because they are jealous. There's a lot of brown men that are jealous of other brown men. I don't know, bro. No diddy, but it just seems weird. We're always tearing each other down and our people down. It's bad enough that we have the North and South issues, which I participated in back in the days. I'm not a hypocrite. I understand what the game is, you know, but I'm of the understanding now that I grew up and realized it wasn't that serious, homes. Mothers were crying. People were dying. People were fucking out there hunting, wasting time when they could have been getting to the bag, just trying to prove to the next man how gangster they were, only to get incarcerated and locked up and continue to have to prove yourself and realize you get tired of the shit and then you're no good. And you got youngsters that are coming up in the game that are now trying to fucking prove themselves, calling you a piece of shit. That's just how the game is. So Lefty going on Blue Devil's channel and saying all this, I could see Blue Devil's eyes like, oh shit, this Vato basically was telling on himself and just making it worse than it already is. The situation should already be blowing over. This is the absolute last video I'm going to do on this shit. Just based on, man, it's getting old. And I guess fucking Lucky's going to address all this Friday on his podcast and let it be known. And I'm sure, man, being the type of individual Lucky is, because I've seen several of his podcasts. Albeit, man, sometimes he does overtalk. People get a little fucking, little hyphy, right? A little crazy. He's a man's man. I'm sure he'll admit, man, that he was at fault in situations. But let's just keep it real, man. Lefty is trying to take that situation and make it like he was gangster and he did this because of that. And that just seems like, when people say that, like they're trying to cover up their faults or they're trying to cover up the way they reacted. There's a lot of people split 50-50 that are saying, hey, Lefty should have took that fade, man. He's looking like a coward. He's looking like a mark. He's looking like whatever. And I'm in the fucking, on the other side, bro, that said, no, he did exactly what he should do and walk away from the situation. He has nothing to prove to anyone. But then you can't use that, hey, I ain't got nothing to prove, homie. I'm that one. And walk away, but then go the next day and say, oh, I would have shot him. I would have did this. I would have did that. Because now you're trying to prove. You can't do both, bro. That's just the real one saying of what I really see. With that being said, I hope that you guys move smooth with a purpose. What do you think? Do you think it was a cowardice act? I think it was worse. Not the situation that happened on Lucky's podcast, but the situation was worse that happened on Blue Devils. And Blue Devil had nothing to do with this. But it was more so worse in what Lefty was saying. He basically was telling on himself and saying he would have did this to a fellow Southsider. Like you would have killed him and did all this. Why? Because he said, fuck you. You wouldn't have did that, bro, because you did it. You had ample opportunity and, oh, man, I don't want 3,000 people to tell on me. Whether you would have did it with 3,000 people looking at you or not, you still would have got your ass locked up for life. It's just an ugly situation. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I honestly and truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people, man. It's time for us to move on and let the bullshit go. And remember, man, these individuals that are all high power, super high power on YouTubes and social media is talking about what they would do. A lot of them will never do none of that. Promise. Me? I ain't shooting shit. I ain't doing nada. Nope. And that's the truth. Why? Because even if I did or I was, I ain't telling you. Facts. Super Norteño Part 8 coming up today, man. Are you guys ready? Man, let me know. It's on go. This is the gun. Bang, bang.